Hi guys. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, can you guys confirm if you are able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, great. Just give me 2 minutes. Need to connect. Okay, fine. So, very good morning to all of you. So this is a course which we have designed for specifically for the Google Cloud Data Engineer. Okay. And here in this course, we are going to cover we'll start from the basic. And if you don't have any knowledge on the cloud, that is also fine. So we'll start from the basic and then we'll cover all the big data services and all the services, GCP services, which are relevant to data engineering. Okay. So about me, so myself Swagat, and I'm having around 8+ years of experience and also some experience in Google Cloud. I have completed my certification in Google Cloud SE and as well as the data engineering certification. Regarding the professional data engineer exam, so like if you are planning to switch, so how this course will be helpful, let me tell you, like if you are planning to switch only for like in the data engineering domain, if you are planning to switch, then this course you can take this course and this definitely it will be helpful for you. Also, if you are planning to go for the certification for the data engineering certification, for that also this course will be helpful for you. But if you are planning to switch for other domain, like if you want to learn GCP DevOps or machine learning engineer, then let me be honest with you, this course is not for that. Okay. So this course we have designed only for the data engineering purposes. And if you want to learn the GCP basics, like if you are planning to attend the associate cloud engineer exam in GCP, then you can attend this course. But if you want to switch to GCP DevOps domain, or GCP machine learning domain, so or GCP data scientist, then yeah, this is not the course for you. Okay. So regarding the GCP certification, what are the GCP certification? There are also many other certifications also available in GCP. So the fundamental certification is the GCP Cloud certified GCP Associate Cloud Engineer certification. And then after that, there are professional certification, like if you are working as a data analyst, so that is data analyst certification. If you are working as a data scientist or data engineer, then that is professional data engineering certification. Also, like GCP has like cloud digital leader certification. Then for the architect also, they have a different certification, GCP cloud professional cloud architect certification. Similarly, for machine learning, DevOps, they have different certification also. So same thing, it is similar to other cloud environment as well. Like if you see in AWS, we have something called Big Data Specialist certification, then a DevOps certification. In Azure, we have a DP 203 and then DevOps certification, then there is data scientist certification. So similarly here also there are certification for different roles. Okay. So if you are planning, as I told, this course is for you if you are planning to attend GCP data engineering certification. So that's the professional level of certification. Below to that level, that is one fundamental level certification that is known as associate cloud engineer certification. So regarding the exam of the GCP data engineering certification, so you'll have to pay around $200, okay, for the registration cost, and the exam duration will be around 2 hours, and you'll get around 40 to 60 questions. In between that, you'll get, and so you'll not get any percentage, how much percentage you have scored in the exam. You'll just get a message like if you have cleared, if you have passed the exam, or if you have failed. Okay. So that's the only message you will get. If you have passed the exam, you'll have to wait for around 7 to 10 days. So within the 7 to 10 days, GCP will send you the certificate. Along with that, so there are some goodies also, like they will ask you, like if you want to opt, you can go ahead and opt. And how you can practice. So how we are going to do in the course, I'll tell you how to create the free tier account in the GCP, and what you need to create a free tier account in the GCP. So in the free tier account, you'll get $300 credit for 90 days. It will be valid for 90 days, and that is more than enough to practice all the services of GCP, what we are going to do in the course. Okay. And how the course has been organized, as I told, even if you don't have any knowledge in the which I'll discuss with you also, like after some time, like what is your background or what is your expectation from this course. But let me tell you how this course has been organized. So we are going to, since it is for data engineering particularly, and we have organized the course like that way. So in the few classes, we'll be covering the data engineering concept, though we'll not go into detail, but still we'll cover most of the concept which we are going to use or we are using as a data engineer. Along with that, we'll start with the after that we'll start with the GCP services. Like we'll cover the fundamental GCP fundamental, then we'll cover some platform comparison, and then we'll do the pricing concept comparison. Then we'll cover the GCP. For in GCP there are different services, like we have basic services, we have services for storage, we have services for databases, for data warehousing, for analysis, for big data, for machine learning. So there are services, and we are going to cover the all the services. Okay. So if you want to see the detailed syllabus, you can see here. So what we are, this is not the complete detailed syllabus, but we are going to cover more than what we have mentioned in this Excel. So for the data engineering concept, yeah, you can see these are the syllabus which we are going to cover. So this syllabus we had designed for our batch one. So now, like, we have made some changes, and we have added few topics also to this syllabus. So in the GCP fundamental, we are going to cover all the region, zones, and how you can create free tier account, and what are the GCP services which are available. Then we'll do a platform comparison with other cloud platform like AWS, with AWS and Azure. Then we'll do pricing comparison. Like if you are if you have some experience, and if you are going to work as an architect, then you need to know, like, if you are going to opt for this service, how much it's going to cost you, and how you can optimize that. So all those things we are going to discuss, and that is what we are going to discuss in the pricing part. Then we have the GCP Basic Services, as you can see. So that is IAM, and then so how you can create a service account, roles, assignment, how you can assign a role, how you can give the access, and what is Cloud Run function, Kubernetes, Google Kubernetes Engine, Google Compute Engine, Google App Engine. Those are the things which we are going to cover. In the storage product, so we are going to cover GCS, then there is data transfer services, and then there is GCP like database concept. So those things we are going to cover. Similarly, in the database, we have a cloud SQL. So for the SQL purposes, so we have databases, like, like there are two kinds of databases, like either it can be SQL or no SQL. So for SQL, we have some services in GCP, like we have Cloud SQL, we have Cloud Spanner, and which we use for the SQL and RDBMS data. For NoSQL, we have Big Table, we have mem store, we have file store, we have data store. So all those things we are going to cover. And then for the data processing, so once you got the knowledge how you can store the data, which service you can use to store what kind of data, whether it is structured or unstructured data, then we'll study how we can process those data. Okay, so what are the platforms, what are the different services available in GCP, in order to process those data. So for that, we have BigQuery. You might be you might have heard about the BigQuery, which is very popular service in GCP. And then that is pops up, then data flow, data proc, data fusion, cloud composer, DLP service, and data catalog, which is for the data management. So all these service we are going to cover. After that, we are going to cover the ML part. So in the ML, the machine learning and data analysis. Though as a data engineer, you don't need to know much of ML, but you need to have some knowledge of ML if you are going to attend the certification. Okay, so there, what are the topics you need to know? So those things also we are going to cover. We'll be covering the data prep, AutoML, BQML, and the machine learning basics. So all these things we are going to cover. Okay. So as a data engineer, I would definitely I would like to know from you. So each one of you can tell me how much experience you have and what is your background, like how much knowledge you have particularly in as a data engineer in data engineering domain or in cloud. Any cloud does not need to be in GCP. And what is your expectation from this course? Yeah, so I would like to know from that from you. So you can guys unmute yourself one by one and you can tell me.
Hey, hi everyone. This is Amar.
Yeah.
I have around 14 years of experience in data side. I mean to say data side, ETL developer and ETL technical lead, ETL database side, Snowflake. Yeah, most of the thing I have a data warehousing experience.
Okay. How much of experience you have in the data domain?
14 years.
Okay. And what is your expectation from this course?
Looking at GCP data engineer role.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge about GCP services or?
No, I don't have knowledge on GCP.
Okay.
Cloud side, I'm kind of newbie only.
But you are using Snowflake, right? And Snowflake in the background, it must be there in some cloud environment.
Yeah, Snowflake, I have experience with loading data, extracting data, all these, but not as a services, complete services and ETL processing on the cloud.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Next, please.
Yeah. Hi, Swagat. Hi, everyone. This is Sudeep. Total, I have 6 years of IT experience in the IBM data stage. So it's related to the data only. So me, Amar, and Puneet, we three were working in the same company as a data stage developers. So yeah, mainly I'm expecting as a data engineer role because nowadays, like everyone, they're moving to the cloud, right? So I'm also planning to move to the cloud with the good technology. So I choose this data engineer role, cloud GCP.
Okay.
And okay, so go ahead. I mean, later I'll ask a question. I had a question, so later we can talk.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, Puneet, we can.
Yeah. Hi. Hi,
Yeah.
this is Puneet. I have around 10 years experience in IT. I work mostly on the data warehousing side and especially more on the ETL side and some reporting as well. I have no experience on cloud computing. So this is my first program, training that I'm taking in cloud. So my expectation is one to get a good understanding of the fundamentals, and two, given that I have experience in the ETL side, I think I might be, it's easier to scale up to the specific data engineer role as part of the cloud. And I know we have other roles, but maybe this is easier to scale or join the the entire cloud computing framework. So yeah, and my expectation is yes, good fundamentals and more practical scenarios that that we would encounter in the real time environment, rather than more theoretical but more conceptual, not conceptual but practical knowledge. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, this is Navya. I just have an 1 year experience in DevOps and I'm working as a AWS developer. I'm just wanted to migrate from AWS to GCP, so just wanted to get some more knowledge.
Okay. Yeah. And do you have any experience in GCP?
No, I don't have anything on GCP. I just worked in Azure and AWS, so I have some experience in Azure and AWS.
Anybody left? Okay. I think someone has some questions. You can go ahead and ask.
Yeah, can I? So, Swagat. So, is the GCP data engineer equal to the ADF Azure Data Factory data engineer? Both are same or it's a different?
So ADF is one type of service. ADF is not complete. So data engineer is a role. Okay. So ADF, you can say if you are in Azure or in GCP. Okay. So there are some of the services. So for example, if you are in Azure data engineering, so you need to know, you need to have knowledge in ADF, ADB, then you need to have knowledge in Azure SQL, and then Azure storage. So that is ADF. Are you able to see my screen? I think you are able to see.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, we can see.
So yeah, so these are the along with that also you need to have some knowledge in the DevOps part as well, Azure DevOps. So you need to have knowledge on this. So ADF, which you are talking about, that is just one of the service, okay, in Azure. So where you don't need to write any type of code. So it's kind of a low code or no code service, you can tell. You can build your pipeline just by dragging and dropping some of the block. You don't need to know any type of coding for that. Obviously, if you are calling, if you are using, if you are calling, let's say Databricks from ADF, then that scenario is different. But as you told, ADF is one of the services. Now coming to the GCP. So in case of GCP data engineering, we have also similar kind of services, like you need to know GCS, which is Google Cloud Storage, which you can tell like it's similar to Azure storage. Then once you have stored your data, then the further processing of the data, we have BigQuery, we have data prop, okay. Then we have data fusion. Then there is data flow, okay. And then for the orchestration purposes, we are using Cloud Composer. So these are the services which are available in GCP. Okay, so if you are working as a GCP data engineer, you will be using these services. Okay, it's not mandatory that if you are working as a project, you will face all of these services. There are some projects which where they're just using the GCS and BigQuery. Okay, everything, all the data warehouse, the data pipeline they have built on BigQuery itself. They are not using any other services. So yeah, that's the difference between the data engineer, GCP data engineer and the Azure data engineer.
Okay, pipelines are created in the BigQuery.
Yeah, so pipeline are created in BigQuery. So there will be something called as a raw layer, and then there will be staging layer. Then there will be your let's say data warehousing or data mart layer. Okay, so all everything, all this pipeline will be built on BigQuery. Okay, and for the orchestration purposes, they can use the cloud composure. Okay, but everything will be built on BigQuery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Any other question? Anyone has? They can also speak.
Hey, hi, Swagat. What about programming here? Which programming language is used here?
So I think most of you are having ETL background, so that's really great. So what we are going to, the code which we are going to, the hands-on which we are going to cover. So mostly it will be in SQL and PySpark and Python. That's it.
Okay.
Then there will be self-scripting which will be there, but yeah.
It's a PySpark. Okay, got it. Thank you.
And also there is this Apache Beam, but don't worry about that Apache Beam. I'll be explaining you that Apache Beam, what is Apache Beam.
Okay.
So if you anyone who is not having any background, who's not having any knowledge on the SQL or Python.
I mean, I don't have any experience on Python. So what is the percentage do we need to learn to get this, to get into the GCP on Python?
See, let me be honest with you. So in this course, we are going to see, we are going to use all of the services of the GCP. We are going to know how we can use, when we can use those services, and what we can do with those services. How much knowledge you need to know Python. See, for Python, like if, how you can be Python expert, but this course is not for that. This course will not focus on Python. Definitely, we are going to cover the you can say kind of crash course on Python, but that will be not enough, because that will just cover in 1 or 2 days. Okay, we'll do the crash course on Python and SQL. We have included, you cannot see that on the syllabus, but we have included that considering that there might be some of the students who will not have any background from the Python and SQL. But if you want to be actual Python expert, and if you want to work in a real-time project, you have to gain some Python knowledge. You have to do some Python project. Okay, and but yeah, we'll do the task course, but that will be just fundamental, and let me be honest with you, that will not be enough to make you Python expert. Okay, but you need to have knowledge in the Python and PySpark and SQL. So it all varies from project to project. Let's say after completing the course, you are going to work in a project where they are just using BigQuery. So there you don't need much of Python. If you just have SQL knowledge, you can adjust there. You can work there. But let's say you are going to work in a project where they are using services like data proc or data flow heavily. Okay. In that case, you need to have knowledge in Python because all the coding they might be doing in PySpark. So also in Cloud Composer. So Cloud Composer, if you have heard about Airflow, Cloud Composer is just another managed service which is there in Google Cloud, and it's completely similar to Airflow. So there in the Cloud Composer also, to write the DAG and everything, you need to have knowledge in Python as well. Okay, so also there will be some coding in the project like which you are going to join. So that also you need to understand that. So you need to have some Python knowledge. Yeah, definitely I'll tell you like how you can enhance your knowledge in Python. I can guide you there, but you have to do that yourself. So this course will not completely focused on Python. As I told, we'll do some crash course on SQL and Python and also PySpark, but not completely focused on those areas.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Yeah. Anyone?
So Swagat,
Even
for
I,
each, Sorry, go
Okay.
ahead, Navya.
Yeah, even I don't have any experience on SQL or Python. So
Yeah, don't worry about SQL and Python. Like yeah, as I told, you can. There are plenty of resources available online where you can, like, for example, if you don't have any knowledge, so you can go to this W3 school. It is W3 school only. So here you can just start. Okay, you can go through this all this tutorial. If you don't have, if you are just a beginner, if you don't know what is SQL, what is Python, so that is
Mhm.
if you can just go through this tutorial. Okay, you can gain some knowledge, and also in the Python as well. You can gain some knowledge. As I told you, I'll be covering some crash course on Python and SQL, maybe in just 1 or 2 days, but that will be not enough. You have to practice it continuously, because in the interview, how it happens, let's say you are going to change or switch to data engineering. If you are planning, so in the interview, they will not straightforward, they'll not straightforward go to GCP, and they'll start asking about the services. So first of all, if you are going to work as a data engineer, they will start with some coding concept. Like it also depend on your experience. Okay, like how much experience you are showing in GCP, it all depends on that. So they'll ask you, for example, I'm talking about, let's say 7 8 years of experience you are having. Some guys are having more than that, I know. Let's say I'm just considering average experience you are having 7 to 8 years. So they will ask about some coding. Okay, so 7 to 8 years means, let's say you are going to join as a lead or senior data engineer. Okay, so they'll ask you some questions on the Python, SQL, and PySpark. Okay, after that, once you clear that, then they will start asking about the GCP. Okay, so let's say they'll ask you what are the services of GCP, or you are using. So you can tell, like, let's say I'm using BigQuery, GCS, and Airflow or Cloud Computer. Then they will start asking the questions related to those services. In BigQuery, there could be many questions they can ask. Similarly, in GCS also they will ask. Okay, so that's the that is how the interview are happening in data engineering. So you cannot neglect Python and PySpark, because you have to learn, you have to do learn. So as I told, you can start learning from PySpark. Like if you know Scala also, that is also fine. It's not mandatory to know Python. Any like Scala, Spark, PySpark, anything is fine. So as I told, check, this is the W3 school, and there is one more tutorial, one more. Just a minute. So this, there is one more website. This one, Spark by example. So from here you can learn PySpark. Okay, everything he has mentioned here. Yeah, and it's more than enough like to learn PySpark from here. So if you have any doubts, if you are facing any issues, then I'm here with you. Like I can definitely resolve that. I'll help you how to resolve all those issues. If you are facing any issues while writing any code or submitting any PySpark job, environment setup, anything, any issues, I am there to help you out. But the concept and everything, whatever, we'll also discuss all this concept, but you have to practice it, because in the scenario, in the interview, they'll not ask you the direct question. They'll ask you, they'll twist the question. They'll ask you the indirect question. So you have to practice that. And yeah.
got it. Sounds good.
So Swagat, are you gonna provide any interview questions after completion of each class?
Uh, Not after each class, but at the end we'll provide. Like after completing the course, we'll provide the interview question.
Okay.
Yeah. So the course will be like a kind of 70% hands-on and 30% theory. So we'll going to cover some of the theory, along with that also hands-on will like let's say for BigQuery. So BigQuery will cover the theory first, and what are the services, what the background, what are the architecture. So all those things we'll cover. Then we'll move to the hands-on part. So that is how we are going to complete the course, and it will take around it will take around 45 to 50 classes to complete the course. And I think Ganesh might have already communicated to you regarding the class timing. So we are going to conduct the classes every weekdays, okay, and it will be around 9 to 10 p.m. IST. Okay, and in some days, like if I'm not available or if I have I got stopped due to some work, then I may take classes in the morning. Also maybe I may ask you to do the to conduct to take the class in the weekend as well, but mostly this will be our regular timing, 9 to 10 p.m. IST, and it will take around minimum 45 to 50 hours to complete the GCP. Okay, all the materials, everything like so Ganesh will create a WhatsApp group. So where although like the material, like the recorded session, material, PPT, everything will be provided to you at the end of the class.
Sure, sir. Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Then let's do some demos. Let's do some hands-on. Okay. If you have any questions also, you can ask me. So
Hey, Swagat, before we start demo, can you show something if you have anything handy of reading the data and processing the data and seeing the final output? So something like the whole project level in kind of.
okay, regarding the project, I missed that. So yeah, so project what we are going to cover. Uh, so these are the project so which we are going to cover. we'll we'll see a demo today on BigQuery and DBT. DBT you might be knowing, it's a data build tool, and recently data engineer has started using the DBT tool. Okay, it's not very old, so it has gained the popularity just I can say just last in 6 months or 1 year. So we have also included that in our project, sorry, in our course. So we are going to do some hands-on today, like whatever the demo I'll show you, it will be on BigQuery and DBT. Apart from that, so it will not be, it will be a simple project, but in the course we will include a bit more complicated project. And apart from that, so also we are going to create data pipeline, many data pipeline for batch processing, and then we are going to orchestrate that using the Airflow. Then also we are going to build a data lake using the data prop. Also we are going to create a streaming data pipeline using PubSub and data flow. Apart from that, also we are going to create some ML model. We are also going to do we'll create deploy machine learning model using the AutoML, BigQML, Vertex AI, and data prep. Okay, and then also we are going to visualize data. We are going to create a report using Data Studio. Okay, so these are the projects which will be covering in the in this course, throughout this course. Yeah, I think someone was.
Yeah, Swagat, thank you. That covers.
Okay. So initially, how you see, like so this is the console, GCP console. Once you create a free tier account, so this is the free tier account which I created for the last batch, and it will be over. So only 16 days is remaining. And this is the, so here once you create a free tier account, if you are from India, so that's why it's showing me like 23,970 rupees. Okay, and you can use that for 90 days. It's going to end on 19th of November. So this is how the free tier account will looks. If you'll go to the report, so here you can see what are the services you have used. in the GCP. So if we'll go to, if we'll change to services, we are going to cover this in detail. I'm just telling you like, so these are the services we have used in the current month. If you'll go to last month also, you can see other services like for BigQuery we have used, Cloud SQL we have used, and how much it has charged, you can see here. Then if you'll go to last month, think you'll see some more services like Cloud Composer, Data Fusion, DLP, and then KMS service, data flow, NLP. Then we have used POPSOP SQL. So these are the services and how much it has charged. So this is just a report of how much services you have used. Okay, what are the services of GCP you have used? Okay, and so what we are going to do today, so we'll, as I told, we are going to do hands-on using DBT and BigQuery. So DBT, if we'll see, DBT, there are two types of environment in DBT. So DBT is known as data built cloud. Okay, it's not in GCP. It's a third-party tool, you can say, data built cloud. And why we are using the DBT? We are going to use the DBT for data transformation and for like for orchestration, you can say, for mainly for the ETL pipeline, for to extract the data for ETL purposes, we are going to use the DBT. Today I have not connected my whiteboard, but yeah, from the next class we'll be doing all this writing and everything on my whiteboard. Anyways, like in DBT, so it's a data build tool, as I told. So there are two types of environment in DBT. One is DBT Cloud, which they have what do you call? They have released recently, and before that, the DBT Core was already there. Okay, DBT Core is free. It's a free tool. Okay, it's open source tool. But DBT Cloud, so they charge you. Okay. So they have some plan and subscription you have to take for the DBT Cloud. Okay. So if I think someone was telling about the Snowflake. So data build tool. So they support all the data warehousing environment. BigQuery is one of them. So there is Snowflake also. So Snowflake is another data warehousing environment. You can connect DBT, the data build tool, with any of the data warehousing environment. So for example, we have not only BigQuery, we have BigQuery in GCP. Then we have Databricks, which is there in Azure. We have Redshift. It is there in AWS. Also, we have Snowflake. Okay, Snowflake you can create in any environment, in Azure, in AWS, and in GCP. Okay, you can create in any cloud. So data build tool, you can connect to the data build tool. So I'll talk about the DBT more in the class, but yeah, just to give you the background. So DBT is the data build tool. Okay, and so they have two types of environment. At the DBT Cloud, you can set up a cloud environment. So initially, if you are creating a new account, it will be free for a few days, maybe for 15 days trial version is there, but after that they'll start charging you. For DBT Core, it's completely free. Okay, and you can create you can connect to the BigQuery. So BigQuery, how it looks, if you go to here, so if you, this is the menu. Okay, so here you can see all the GCP products which I was talking about. So all the GCP products, so you can see here. So there are services. If you click on more product, you'll be able to see some of the product which we are using for compute. So we are going to cover this compute engine and the Kubernetes engine. Then in the server list, you can see some of the services. Okay. Similarly for storage, I was talking about this cloud storage, data transport, file store. Then in case of databases also, you can see big table, data store, all these services. Okay. Similarly for networking, we don't need much. for the analytics. So you can see these services pops up, composer, BigQuery, data stream, data prep. Okay, and then these are for AI. Okay, so these are the services which you can see. So if you'll go to BigQuery, so you can just click on here and you can go to BigQuery. So this is how the BigQuery console looks like. So you can see I have, so this is your this is my project ID. Okay, and you can see also from here. So in BigQuery, if you want to create, if you can create some table in BigQuery, and if you want to access a table, you have to access in this way. Like you'll have a project ID, then there will be one dataset ID, then the dataset ID, and there will be table name. Okay, so this is how you have to access the table in BigQuery. So right now you can see this is my project. Inside the project, whatever you are seeing, that those are dataset IDs or dataset, you can say. Inside the dataset, if I'll expand this dataset, whatever you are seeing, these are either tables or views. Okay. So for example, this is a table. Okay. So here you can see the table details. So when it will expire, what is the table ID? I was talking about this table ID. Okay. So you can see this is my project ID. This is my dataset ID, data warehousing bike sharing. Then this is my table ID. You can also see some data. Okay, that's fine. So how to install DBT core? I'll not cover that because that will take time to install DBT core. There are some setups which you need to do to install the DBT core. So once you'll install the DBT core, how you can connect DBT BigQuery. Okay, so this demo I just did. Yes, I just set up all these things yesterday night only. So you can see, so whenever so first of all you have to install DBT. Okay, and you have to install the DBT core on your system. Okay, and for that you have to create a environment, virtual environment. You can install the DBT to that virtual environment. Let me go to the terminal. Okay, so this is the so let me activate my terminal. So here I was just installing the DBT yesterday. Okay, so you have to create a terminal. Sorry, you have to create a virtual environment, and then you can install the DBT there. So I have created this DBT BigQuery virtual environment. So what I'll do, I'll just activate the virtual environment. Okay. So inside this, you can play with the DBT, you can do the DBT, you can run the DBT script. So there is something called, let me close this. So there is something called dbt project.yml file. Okay. And then there will be one dbt profile.yml file. Okay. So in the profile.yml file, you don't need to do the setup. So once you'll create the dbt init command, so that is something called dbt init command. Once you run that, it will do this template. It will set up all this template, okay, for you, and also it will create the profile file as for you. It will ask you this input, like which data set you want to use. As you saw, like this is the data set, data warehousing bike sharing data set, which I have created in BigQuery. So that is what I am using. Then the key file. So key file is the service account. So what I am doing here, I am connecting to my BigQuery from my local system, right? So in order to connect to BigQuery, you need to, if you are connecting to a BigQuery from a local system, you need to have some authentication. So there is some something called a service account, okay, which you need to have, and you need to assign some roles, proper roles to that service account. Okay, then only like proper roles and access you need to grant to their service account. Then you can connect to the GCP services or BigQuery from your local system. Okay, so that is what I have mentioned. So this is my path of the service account. So this is the service account, how it looks. So this is the key file. Okay, you have to generate a key. So this is the key JSON file. It will be generated in JSON format. Even if you will take this service account on this key file, and if you start using, also you can also connect to my project as well. Okay, so this is how the service account key JSON file looks. And then this is the profile. Okay, this profile will be used by the DBT. Okay, so this profile file will be by default created by DBT once you will run the DBT init command, DBT initialization. Okay, then you have to provide the service account details and the location where your dataset is present. For example, my dataset is present in US location. Then what is your project ID? So this is my project ID you saw, right? And then where you want to connect, whether to BigQuery, to Snowflake, to Redshift, so that you need to provide here. I have created the profiles, and I just have the template. So then what I am going to do here, so as you can see, so there is models, and then there is macros. Okay, so there are other files which we will talk later, but for now you can just focus on three folder. One is your dbt project.yml, another one is model, another one is macros. So in case of dbt yml, you have to mention everything. Like you have to mention the project name, and then you have to mention the version, then you have to mention where your profile is present. What is the profile name? You saw, right? Profile name is dbt query demo. So here it is dbt query the demo. And then the model path, and then what is your target path. So these are the default which I have generated, default which dbt has set up for me. Then this is the macros. Okay, on run stat macros, you have to use the macros. What is the macro? So if you have any idea about Excel, so in Excel we have some concept of macros. So you can, if you are doing a task repeatedly, so in that case, how you can automate that, you can create some macros, and you can apply those macros. So that is what I am doing here. If you have any idea about the Python function, so what we do, why we create a Python function, whether it is any user defined function, if you have idea. So that is what macros means. Macros means you will create one type of function, and if you are doing some kind of transformation, so then that there you can use that function. Okay, so that is what macros means. For example, let's say I am adding one. Okay, I'm just, so that is a numeric field. So what I'm doing, I'm adding just one, okay, to that particular numeric field. There is no predefined function for that to add one. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll create a user defined function, and if I'll pass that field to that user defined function, let's say the function name is add one, I'll pass some column, let's say column one, to that field. So what it will do, it will just add one to the column one. Okay, so this is what macro also does. If you'll see, this is my macro name. Okay, so here inside the macros folder, I have defined my macros. Okay, so this is my macros. So that I'll explain you. This is how in dbt you have to write the macros. It is in SQL only. Okay, you can see this is a SQL file only. So what we are doing, if we are doing some kind of filter operation, we are doing if the x is not null, and x is the input variable which you are passing to the macros, and if x is not equal to this field, then cast x, okay, to float, otherwise null. So that is what we are doing in the macros. Then what we are doing, then there is model. So that is macros, then there is model. Inside the model, what I have mentioned, so I am creating three models. So this once you'll do the dbt init, it will create some example model. So this is the first dbt model, which is the one of the example, and this is the second dbt model. So these are the predefined what do you call, predefined examples, which dbt will set up for you once you will run the dbt init command. Okay, so if you'll see here, I think I have yeah, you can see here. So I have run this dbt, I have activated the conda. Then I have run this dbt init command to set up my project, right? So after that, it was asking me whether you want to use BigQuery, because I have installed both BigQuery and Snowflake. So it was asking me whether you want to use BigQuery or Snowflake. So I choose the option 1. Okay, this is how it will ask you to set up also. So after that, so it was asking me like the key file, to provide the key file, project name, and data set name, everything it was asking. Then once you do that, it will create the profile file for you. This file will be created based on the input which you have provided. And then you can run this dbt run command, which I'll run. Then you can see all this output. Okay. So so these are the model which it will create. Then this is the model which I have created for the demo. So here, so what we are going to do, so here what, so there is a data set. Okay, so there is a data set, and this is my data set name. This is my table name, as I explained. So this will be your first, how you can access the BigQuery data set. You have to put the data set ID and then the table name. So this is the query, which I'll not explain much about the query. So this is the macros which I am using. Okay, the cleanup numeric macro. And then from this model, college scorecard model, I am creating another model. Okay, so here also I am creating a view, and then I am creating another model. Okay, so based on this query, it will create the model. Right now I'll run the dbt run. Okay, I know it will give the error. Okay, so let me see what is the error it's going to give. So first of all, I need to, yeah, I have. So why it was giving error, you need to, because it's showing dbt is not recognized, because I have installed dbt in one of the virtual environment. Okay, so if you just run type dbt outside of that virtual environment, it will throw you the error. It will not able to recognize what is dbt, because you have installed in a virtual environment. So I'll go to my virtual environment. Here you can see I have activated my virtual environment. So I'll run the dbt run here. I know it will abend, but let's do that. It will test all the model. Missing dbt project. Okay. So right now you can see it has thrown another error. It's showing missing dbt project YML file in the parent directory. So why it is giving the error? Because you can see this is my directory. Inside that I have another directory, dbt BigQuery demo. So let me go to that directory, dbt BigQuery demo. So now I'll run the dbt run command. It will take some time, around 2 to 3 minutes. In cloud, it runs fast, but here in the core, it takes some time. Okay, I think for the initial run, it was taking time. So you can see the error. Okay, so so what is this overview? What is the error? What we got? Like 3 models, 3 table model, 2 view model, and 1 hook. Then what is happening? What is the error it is throwing? This 404 not found. This data set is not there. Okay, in the location US, because I have mentioned that data set right here. This is my initial model. From this model, I am creating this one, and then from that I am creating this one, right? But in this model, when it is checking, this data set itself is not there in BigQuery. Okay, so if I'll go to BigQuery, I can see my data set is not there, and it is checking for the data set, that CH4 data set. So what I'll do here, I'll create a data set here. I'll create a data set with that same name. Let me copy. I'll create a data set and I'll create a table in BigQuery. So I'll create by default, if you don't specify any location, it will create in US location. So just create a data set. So now that my data set has been created, now I'll go to that data set and I'll create a table. Okay. I think someone was trying to speak and I heard some sound. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll create a table. There are different ways to create table. One of the way is you can create table from the cloud storage. Okay. Other ways are also you can see here. So one of the ways to create table from the cloud storage. So I know like I have a file in the data set in the bucket. So this is the bucket in GCS available. Yeah, this is the file I was looking for. Then so it has automatically detected this CSV file. This is my data set. Okay, CS4 table name. I'll just copy from here so that it will not throw again any error. Then here you can specify schema, or you can go with auto detect. So I'll go with auto detect and I'll create a table. It will take some time to load the data. In 1 minute, so within 1 or 2 minutes, it will create the table. Okay, so let's wait. Any questions if you have that meantime you can ask.
So Swagat, here we created the table in the BigQuery, or is it in DBT? Because I am under impression that we created table under DBT.
DBT is a third-party tool. We are not doing anything on the DBT. So what is DBT? You are not creating any table in the DBT. DBT is a tool. You are integrating the DBT with your data warehousing platform. What are the data warehousing platforms? So these are the data warehousing platforms. So whatever you are doing it on the BigQuery itself. Okay. If you are creating any table, views, anything you are creating, you are doing it in BigQuery. But how you are doing? So for the ETL work, to write the job or to write a SQL query, to write some transformation job, for that you are using DBT. DBT has been integrated with the BigQuery. We are not creating anything on the DBT. Okay.
So BigQuery nothing but a storage layer.
Yeah, BigQuery is not storage, not only storage, it's a analytical warehousing engine. So you can store the data as well as you can do the you can run some analysis as well in the BigQuery.
Okay, got it.
So I think it would have created some table. It's actually loading the file is huge, that's why it's taking some time. Let me see if the table has been created or not. So inside this, inside H4, it's still loading. I think the job might be running to load the table. So let's wait for some time. Actually, in the background, it will run it load job to load your table. So you can see this job type. The job might be still running. Let me see. Okay, my table is there. So because of too many columns, so like it's not showing the preview, but that's fine. It has loaded my table. Okay, you can see the size of the table. Okay. So now I'll run the same command dbt run.
It should be DBT. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one question here, Swagat. How, when we run the DBT run, so how does it know that I need to go and pick up that score, pick up that particular task only, like model only?
So it will check in the model folder what the models you have created. It will also check the macros. So by default, that is how the DBT developer, like it's another tool. So they have designed it. That if you run the dbt run command, it will check in the model folder what are the models you have you want to create, and it will try to build that model. Okay, it is already there in the background. That is how they have programmed. So that is how it is knowing to which data set to which project it will go. So for that we have this project file, and we have the profile file. Okay, so from this it will get to know like to which BigQuery project. See, in BigQuery there are many data set and many tables. So how will you know to which data set to which project it has to go and do the job? So for that you need to provide it. You need to create this profile file, and this profile file you need to mention on the project inside the project YML. Okay,
Okay. So,
so
but is
yeah.
in case if when it tries to identify, let's say 10 models, and we are interested in only 2 models, and I don't want the other 8 models to be executed and waste running of
Yeah,
my
so
time.
you can specify the model name as well. In the command dbt run. You can specify the model name as well. It's a generic command which I ran dbt
Sure,
run.
got it.
You can
Thank
mention the model. So now you can see there is no error, and it has passed all the tests. So 3 table model, view model it has created. So now if you let me, I will go to the BigQuery. So let's refresh the console. So inside is inside the bike sharing, you can see it has created this college scorecard. Okay, and this is the model. Select the first generation. Okay, so it has extracted the data. Then from here, there is one more model. I think it has created second BT model. So this is also the it has created. Yeah, this one. So this is a view. Okay, I think it's the this is the view ID. This is a table. Okay, so in DBT this is how it looks. This is the view, this is the table. Similarly here, this is the default model which it has created. There will not be any data. So this is the default model which it has created. Okay, and you can see the timings as well. Everything you can see. Yeah, so this is how it has created. Like any transformation, if you want to mention, if you want to specify, you can also make changes here. Okay, and apart from that, if you want to generate the doc. So if you want to see, if you want to generate the document, so based on your project, so you can also do that. So one thing, normally permitted. Get to browser. Go there. So here you can see it has generated the document. Okay, so if you go to the project, these are the macros. Okay, description, everything is there, and then these are the models. So you have it has generated the document for you. Like there will be some information, whether it is written in which language, what are the columns, then what is the query you used. Okay, so this is the query. What is the compiled query? Okay, you can see here I have used the target schema, and this, and here this is the compiled query, compiled version of the query. Then similarly for this one also you can see, sorry, you can see the details as well here. So this is the source which I have mentioned. I have used this reference to college scorecard. So college scorecard is the this model. So I have used the reference, then it has created the table for it. Okay. Similarly for this one, this is the source. I have used the reference this one. So for this I have used the reference as this one. For this I have used the reference as this one. So here you can see the reference, and here the compiled version of it. Also you can see the lineage graph. If you know the lineage graph, you can see from the college scorecard, it is creating selective then from there it is creating this one. So this linear graph also, you can see here. So in UI, so it's in DBT Cloud, it's completely web UI based. So there you'll see some more information. So with the UI, you don't have to do anything on your system. So all the programming, all the coding you can do on the UI. But in the projects in UI, the DBT Cloud, so it's a subscription based. You have to pay for it. So in the project, mostly they use, they're still using the DBT cloud. In some project, you may find DBT cloud. Yeah. So yeah, that's the demo which I had planned for today. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Swagat, so the course will start from next week onwards?
Yeah, from Monday timings, I think I told you. Yeah, from Monday. So at this time.
9 to 10. Only 1 hour or 1.5 hours?
Oh, no, only 1 hour.
Only 1 hour. Okay. Can we get detailed topics which we are going to touch and cover? And
so this one, it is having all the topics, but this DBT and everything, this one we have not updated here in the syllabus. So this is for the old batch, but mostly this one is having more detail.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
So you will be assisting, or somebody will be assisting on us and setting up all these Google Cloud
No,
account?
I'll be assisting you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions, Sudeep and Navya?
No questions. No.
No,
Then if everyone is, yeah, Navya.
Okay, guys. Then let's end the.
Sure, Swagat, I'll create the WhatsApp group. We'll start from like Monday, and we'll discuss everything.
Yeah.
Sudeep, I'll give you a call after some time, Sudeep.
Sure, okay.